Hello friends, welcome to my channel. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. Today I just wanted to talk about 11 products that will get you that spring look. It is already near the end of April and I realize that there's a lot of spring in the air and I've got my, flowers out and I'm feeling super springy, okay, and really like fresh. So I think it would be fun to do a spring look. So I am just going to start off. We're gonna have our CeraVe sunscreen because it's spring and the sun's out. I'm very aware of the sun and its effects, and so I am always a proponent for great skincare. So it doesn't matter what foundation I'm using, I usually try to put sunscreen underneath of it. This one happens to be 30 SPF, and you can use, of course, any one that you want. 30 is enough for me, but this can be purchased at the drugstore. It's a pretty easy find. CeraVe is a brand that's carried everywhere, pretty much. CVS, Walmart, and Target, pretty much anywhere. Then I'm going to use my tinted moisturizer from ColourPop. This is the shade Light 7W, and it is the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer. I'm going to use my little bouncy sponge here. This sponge is from Shop Miss A, and it's a very inexpensive sponge. I like it because it cost me $1, I think. Almost everything on Shop Miss A's website is $1. And I like it because some of their items that you can purchase, they donate to charity. So some of the items are $1.80 or $1.50 something, and the rest of that goes to charity. So I appreciate that. And I don't think you need to buy an expensive sponge. Now, I have bought more expensive sponges just to try them out and compare, but you don't have to. So I'm just putting this tinted moisturizer all over to even out the skin tone, to give me some of that coverage without looking full coverage. I don't want my spring look to be full coverage. I just want it to be fresh. And this tinted moisturizer seemed to fit that really well. So now I've got my Physicians Formula Organic Wear. This one is in the shade Toffee, and it is a stick bronzer. And I'm using a lot of cream products today. I've been stuck on cream products lately and just kind of can't stop using them, especially for spring. I just think that it keeps a little bit of dew on the face, doesn't look too aging. I think that powder, I've maybe said this before, maybe you've heard me say this before, but powder can tend to crepe on top of your skin and then therefore look like you have more wrinkles than you do, and I don't want to look like I have any wrinkles. So if we can avoid that by the products that we use, then I'm all for it. So I'm going to put a little bit on the perimeters of my face here, and I'm actually going to go straight into this here. This brush is from CVS, and it's considered their highlighter brush, the MUA brand, Makeup Academy Professional. And I like it because it's such a short brush that I tend to use it close to its bristles, and therefore gives me a lot of control. There's that. Now for blush, I'm most excited about the blush because this is from M Cosmetics. It's their Serum Drops. This one is the Peachy Peach one. That's not redundant, but it is such a good shade. It's orange, more of an orange shade, which for me is kind of what I gravitate toward. I think it looks better on my skin than a pink shade. So I'm just gonna put a dollop of that onto my hand. Now it's pretty runny, like you can see it start to run, but I'm going to use this brush from It Cosmetics, and I'm just going to kind of like dab onto it and then just lightly kind of go like that, and I'm going to just kind of work quickly to diffuse that across my face, but it's going to start to sink into my skin, and it's going to really give me that glow because it's a serum, and it's going to give me that color that I am looking for. Now, notice that I skipped concealer and I skipped powder, mainly because of this spring look that I'm kind of going for. Now, I don't want to look greasy, so there is a difference there, but usually grease tends to be on the nose, on the forehead, and in certain places, whereas like you don't normally see like grease on your cheeks. So that is more just like a shiny dew, kind of that makes your complexion look a little more fresh, a little more youthful, and that's what I like. So you can see I didn't use all of that drop at all. Now we're going to go into highlighter. I decided to pull out my Nude Sticks highlighter. This one is Hey Honey, and it's a very tiny little highlighter. We're going to go into it with this brush directly and just go tap that onto the certain points that I really just want to target. And that is very natural. I think it is giving me that desired look, but it's faint. It is kind of giving me that golden sheen that I'm looking for, but it isn't going overboard, which I already have that dew from the blush, but this kind of gives a little bit of color, of that golden color, which is kind of what I'm going for. And it's not a powder, so it's not going to clump up or it's not going to get patchy. Shouldn't anyway. So that was that. And now for the eyes. We are going to go into MAC Paint Pot in Soft Ochre. This is an important step for me. Of course, you can skip this if this isn't important for you, but I always go in with like an eyelid primer, just because if it's a hot summer day or a hot spring day, a humid spring day, I really want to make sure that my eyeshadow doesn't fade throughout the day and doesn't get affected by the elements. Alright, and then the palette that I'm going to use today is the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's just such a staple in my collection now. I picked it up the other day. Now, I already had the Arabesque palette, which is from Bad Habit. It's an old brand, Bad Habit, that isn't even in business anymore, or if they are, they're not selling these palettes anymore, and it is a dupe for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam palette, as you can tell, and the shades are in a little bit different order, but they are the same shades, and you can tell that some of my most loved shades, such as the Nutcracker shade in this one and the Rose Pink shade in this one, it's that Mauve Pink shade, which is what we're going to use today, is well loved in both of my palettes. But today we're going to use this palette, the Soft Glam palette, because it's a palette that is still available and you could get from the store if you so choose, if you don't already own it. So I'm going to go in with my AOA Studio. This is the E127 brush, again, from Shop Miss A. It's another one of those dollar items. I think I got this in a pack, but it was very inexpensive. It had a bunch of brushes in it, which I've actually decluttered a good handful of them, but I've kept a few of them that have been very, very handy in my collection, and this is one of them because of just the shape of it. It's like a big fluffy brush. I'm gonna go into this Dusty Rose color, and we're gonna just go over. I want to do a really light pink, a really gentle eyeshadow look, if you will. With this eyeshadow look, I really just want to show that I have put some attention into the eyes, but I don't want it to be overboard at all. I just want it to be a little bit of shine, a little bit of something something, but nothing too crazy. So I went into Dusty Rose, and I'm going to go, this is Dusty Rose. I'm going to go into Rose Pink now because it is the perfect shade that just goes on top of the eyelid and really just gives me that pretty spring pink shade that I tend to gravitate toward on a more natural day. I have hit pan on the Nutcracker shade in the other palette. So I know it takes a long time to get through eyeshadows, but that's one that I've used enough that I've actually hit pan, and so I definitely thought it would be worth getting the real deal here, the Anastasia palette with that color, because I use it that much. That is pretty much that. Sometimes I do darken up the outer corners, but because this is just a nice spring look, a daytime look, I'm not going to darken out the outer corners of my eye because I just want that really faint kind of look. And then lastly in this palette, I am going to go into glistening here, and I'm going to go in with this tiny little elf brush, and I'm going to brighten up the inner corners. I think that if there's anything for a nice spring look, you do want to kind of brighten up that inner corner, and it's ever so slight, but I've been bringing it up. If you can see it, especially on this eye, the light is catching it nicely. I kind of bring it up and out. And I don't know, it's a new effect. It's kind of fun. And then we are pretty much done with the palette. I am going to do a wing because I think that the eyeshadow is very gentle, very soft, if you will, soft glam. And I just want to kind of give me some definition with a bolder eye. So I am going to, I have my Wet n Wild liner here. This one is the breakup proof liner, but it is in the shade black brown. And I just think that I love soft brown right now for my eyeliner. This one is the Physicians Formula eyeliner. This one is the waterproof one. You can tell it's waterproof because it's got the raised water droplets on top of the packaging, which I really think is a fun effect. Just is satisfying to feel, and I really like the weight of this eyeliner. It's probably one of the best liquid eyeliners that has a brush tip that I've found from the drugstore. All right, eyeliner is on. See, this is with two different eyeliners. So this could technically be a 10-step look if you didn't want to put on eyeliner, two different types of eyeliner. This is just my preference. It's how it works for me. I think it gives a bit of definition without being way overboard on the boldness. So we just have 3 more products here to finish off the look. I'm super excited because they're very quick and simple. This here is Benefit's Lash Mascara. Now this is called Their Real Magnet. And it's kind of fun. This is a mini. I was at Sephora and someone had showed me, and she had one on one eye and none on the other eye, and I could see a significant difference. She had beautiful lashes, so that helped. But I'm going to just apply this. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to show you just one eye after I applied the mascara, and then the other eye without mascara, and show you kind of the difference. This mascara for me does not clump up. I love a voluminous mascara, but I've been kind of more on the hunt for a less voluminous mascara, a less clumpy mascara, and a more just lengthening. And I really think that this is exactly what I've been looking for, and I didn't even have to look very hard. I'm just excited because the brush is not a real hair brush. Synthetic, I think it's plastic, it's like rubber, and it just combs through my lashes really, really nicely. I'll look up, see if that helps. But I think that it does show a difference, and I really only need 1 coat, because if I do 2, then we go back to the slightly clumpy effect, and I'm just not really looking for that right now. I've done that, been there, done that, and I think with a eyeshadow look that's a little wilder, that's when I go for the multiple layers and the more volume clumpy look. So anyway, there is both of them applied. Now the last 2 steps, I've got Benefit's Gimme Brow. This is a new, another mini. It's a new product for me, but it is just super easy to use. All I've been doing is just running this through my brows, and it is so simple and easy, and I really really, it's the colored one. Combs my hairs, gives it a little bit of color. I am someone who normally uses pencil, so I'm very used to having a little bit of color deposited, a little bit of definition, and I think that this does it in a very quick way. Pretty much, it keeps things natural, it keeps things fluffy, but I think that it helps. I really think that it helps. So then, the last step is a lippie. This is not new to my collection. It is my spring lip that I really just pull out like every year. I've had this for probably going on possibly 3 years. I don't think it's been that long. Regardless, it's still going strong. This one is Coral Minerals, and it's their Physicians Formula, the Healthy Lip, and it's so moussey. It's very comfortable. It's super fun. It's fun for spring. It's fun for really any more neutral look that you're going for, but you want to just kind of spice up your lip look. You can tell that you are wearing something. It's super comfortable. It wears off super well. It kind of fades throughout the day in a very, very natural way. It doesn't have any weird lines left over. It does transfer a little bit. It's not a liquid, it's not a true liquid lip where it dries down, but kind of a good thing because it doesn't make your lips super dried out and chapped at the end of the day. You're just comfortable all day long. Like, I will literally reach for this and be able to wear it, and I can tell that it gives me a little bit of hydration, a little bit of something, a little bit of color, but it doesn't make me feel like at the end of the day I'm gonna have raisin lips. Here is the final look, and I have been really, really enjoying doing this. That was an 11 product look. Here we go. I really like the eyeshadow look. It's there, but it's not overbearing. I've been super into natural, more natural. Like, you know me, I love purple, I love blue, I love the wild eyeshadow colors, but I also just think that there's something special to a natural look, to where someone can tell that you have put effort into your look, but it doesn't look like that you've overdone it. It looks like that you're enhancing your own natural features. So that is all that I have for you today. Peep Remy in the background. That is my roommate's cat, and he is a little spoiled brat, but he's very sweet. And sometimes you'll see him probably in my videos. By the way, this is my second cup of coffee. It's been that kind of day. That is what kind of these two marks are coffee marks. This tiny little mark here is the lipstick transfer. So clearly it's not too bad. So anyways, thanks for joining me. I really, really enjoyed having you. I hope that you enjoyed it so much that you will subscribe to my channel. My Instagram handle is Lizzy Likes Lipstick. That's Lizzy, then likes lipstick. And I hope to meet you there. You can comment below, give me ideas of what you'd like to see next, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!